Hello everyone. Whether you are a beginner or an advanced user of Final Cut Pro, today we are going to take a look at just the basic steps of how you get things started effectively when you first start building your Final Cut Pro projects for your segments and getting your footage basically from your camera to your computer so you can start editing. This session is the foundation of everything that you will need to use this year in class. Before you ever start a project, the first thing that you need to do is you need to go to the Finder, and up top you can close this window out. As long as it says Finder up top, go to File, click on New Folder. You need to name this folder whatever you feel is necessary and appropriate for your segment so that you make sure all of your files get put into this folder. If things are left on the desktop, you run the risk of them being deleted because somebody does not know what they are. For the sake of this tutorial, we're just simply going to call it ENN or Eagle News Network tutorial. This is where everything that I use for this project will be placed. Once you have done that, you want to make sure that you plug your camera into the computer using a FireWire. If you have any questions about that, just ask me in class. It's tough for me to show you here, but it's a beige cord that goes into the back of the camera and runs in the back of the computer. This is how the two devices will talk to each other. Once you have successfully done that, you will turn your camera on. Make sure it is in VCR mode. Make sure you have plenty of battery in the camera, and make sure you have your tape in the camera. Once that is available, you want to go down and we can start opening Final Cut Pro. It has this icon at the bottom in the dock. If you cannot find it, you simply can click on Finder, go to Applications on your computer, and then search through here, and you will find Final Cut Pro, and you can open it that way. But for here, we're just going to open it at the bottom. It does take it a couple seconds to load. What you see here are all the different elements of a Final Cut Pro project. This is your timeline or your sequence where everything will be found. Up here, this is what we call our bin, where all of your footage from your camera will go into that you can edit. Once you decide to start editing clips, they will appear here in the viewer. And then anything that you're playing down here in the timeline, you will be able to see the video here in the canvas window. If any of this stuff does not pop up, feel free to go here to Window, and you can click on any of them and it will open. If there is a project that is already open that somebody has been working on when you first open Final Cut Pro, please go to File and simply go to Close Project, and this is what you will see. And then to start your new project, go to File, New Project, and you see all the windows pop back open. Once you have done this, the first thing you want to do to make sure everything gets saved in case the computer shuts down, because Final Cut Pro does have an auto save feature, you want to go to Save Project As, click on it. The place you want to save it is in the box that you have already created, or excuse me, in the folder that you have already created. If you do not see it there, then you simply can go to the desktop, but just make sure you remember to move it over into your folder. Again, we're just going to use ENN tutorial to save, and save it to the desktop. Click Save. This next step is also very important to make sure you keep up with all your files. You want to go to Final Cut Pro, click on the top, come down to System Settings. What you are doing here is you're telling Final Cut Pro where to save all your video, all the work that you do, so it's all in one place. If you do not do this, you run the risk of putting your information, your video, your audio in many different places, and it could end up getting deleted, put in the trash, and you only have half your work. This way, if it's all in one place, you have a better chance of keeping it secure. What you want to do is here at this top button where it says Set, click on it, and we are going to click on the desktop. And since this is the ENN tutorial project, we're going to choose, and you can click on choose here or just press enter. And you want to do this for this top set icon here and all three of these different elements. You want to set them all to that same folder that we originally created. And then our last one, I know it seems tedious, but please trust me when I say this is very, very important. And then simply click OK once you make sure all of that is done. And once you have done that, we are now ready to start getting footage from your camera onto the computer. So you want to go to File, Log and Capture. As you see here, in case you want to start advancing yourself and moving around Final Cut Pro a little bit faster, you can see that the shortcut is Command 8 and it will immediately open the Log and Capture screen. But you go to File, Log and Capture, or Command 8, and you'll see that it's initializing, and this is what you have here. Before we start looking at our footage, I want to emphasize that it's very important that you use these controls instead of the controls on your camera to operate your footage. So I'm going to hit play, and it takes a second to talk to each other, but here you just see some raw footage from a tape of a project that a student has done, even some class projects that have been recorded. Let's say this is the part that I want to start capturing. I'm going to come down and I'm going to click on Capture Now. Here we see some other footage from Trevecca Nazarene University as we prepare for class. Once you get the amount of footage that you want to use or just from that clip, you push the escape button, as you see it tells you to do here at the bottom of the screen. What you will notice is that this clip that I just captured has now come over into my bin. So it is there when I am ready to start editing. If you would like to make your life a little bit easier, when you start to capture something, you can put some information in here so it will pop up, or you can click over, click once, wait a second, and then click again, and it will allow you the option to change this so you do not have just a bunch of clips that say untitled. So let's say I want to continue to gather some more clips. I simply hit play, and again you have the option to fast forward or rewind here. To save some time, make sure you know what you want to capture so that you're not capturing everything. This will save you time. If you just make one large clip, that's a lot more editing that you have to do. This is the next part that I want, so we'll click Capture Now. And that gives us enough to work with for the sake of this tutorial. And you can see now that I have both clips over here in my bin. When you're ready to start editing your clips and you're done capturing, simply X out of the box. You can see where it will get very confusing if you have untitled and untitled one. I've clicked once, I've given it a second, I'll click again. It gives me the option to change it. So you could use words such as opening shot, and that will help you when you edit to know how to put things in order or what exactly it is. I could do the same for here. Second shot, or you could even use second scene. This just helps you save time and keep things organized, because it gets very frustrating if everything says untitled. Never ever mess with this clip that's in here. This is your entire sequence as a whole, so we do not want to mess with that. So we want to do some editing to our opening shot. I double clicked, it opened here in my viewer, and I can hit play. And if I click play again, it will stop. If this is where I want my clip to start, I can type I on the keyboard for input to where it will start. and we can say that here's where we like for it to end. Click O for output and simply put your arrow over the top of the screen and then drag it down. And there you have your shot. Now I did something intentionally here. If you were listening while we were playing this video and log and capturing, it had audio. But as you will see on our sequence, we see where it says video and you see where it says audio. I do not have any of the audio here for this clip. We'll take a look at it here in just a second. My second shot, hit play. I'll set my endpoint by pressing I again. Then I'll press O, so that's where I want it to be out, and I'll take it and I'll drag it. And again, you will see that neither one of these clips have audio. There's a reason for this. I want to take you back to the file, log, and capture screen to show you what happened and show you a pothole that you need to be careful to make sure that you did not fall off into yourself. If you click here into clip settings in your log and capture, you want to make sure your video and your audio are both checked marked if you want both of them. If you just want the video, then make sure you do not have audio clicked, because it will save you time editing later and you don't have an unnecessary step. Say you just want the audio from something, we can do the reverse and simply click on video to where all you will get is audio. So we'll do this to where we have both selected, go back to logging, we'll hit play, and the device will start talking. We're going to click capture. Get a few seconds just so you can see it. We'll press escape. There you go. It sends it to our bin. We'll close out log and capture. We can change the title of it to closing. Double click it if I want to do any editing. But let's just say we like all of it. I bring it down and now you can see the difference to where I have audio files here and it will actually play it back. Anything I play back from the timeline will be right here in the canvas so you can see what you've got to do. This is a very basic introductory step. Some of the other tutorial sessions will show you how to add in some more special effects, and throughout the year we'll go into greater detail. But this is a very introductory level course, also a very good refresher in case you've forgotten exactly what you've done or you're missing some of the steps. This will help you do it. Last thing you always want to make sure you do, and even do it periodically throughout your project, simply go to Save Project, or as you noticed, Apple S or Command S. Save your project periodically to make sure you don't lose anything. When you are done, we can go to Final Cut Pro and make sure you quit Final Cut Pro. Do not leave it open because we do not want people messing with the projects. Once you've clicked Final Cut Pro, we'll go back, and to keep everything organized, remember ENN tutorial could only be saved to the desktop, but to keep things organized, I'm simply going to click, hold, and drag and put it in my folder. And when I open my folder, you will notice that everything in ENN tutorial that is part of that project is now here in this one place, this one central location. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial session. If you have any questions, please make sure you simply ask Mr. Hudson or maybe a student that's been in the class before. And we hope you enjoy some of the other sessions, and I look forward to seeing some amazing projects.